It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast, your one-stop shop to dominate fantasy baseball and football. Come get some.
Yo, 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 baby, yo. Here we go. Let's start the show. It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Trella, and with me as always, my brother from another mother. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Trader Andy. What's going on?
What's going on, bro? Relaxing here on vacation, you know, enjoying the week with the family and everything. But I'm here and excited and pumped to be here. Talk about football.
Yeah, I mean it's your thing now, right?
Yeah.
You're how many? I don't even want to know how many best balls you've done, but it's through the roof. Keep it going, man. We got time for more puppies, man. There's puppies everywhere. We'll talk more about puppies in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Flank to your left is the Greek god of mock drafts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Nick Mimi. What's going on, my dude?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Not too much. All right. Let's start the show with Nick the way that we always do. Let's take that victory lap, buddy. What's going good for you this week?
Football season's back. I'm a Jets fan. Zach Wilson is crushing it. He looked great. I can't hide my my excitement for that kid. He looked very good. I mean, I know it's preseason, but the footwork, he was doing that crossbody throw. Corey Davis is a target monster, and it looks like they made the right move. Cannon Sam Darnold. So
now, question for you. Does that mean that we should buy high on Zach Wilson now because the Jets are losing multiple people on defense now, and they're going to be behind all the time?
There's going to be shootouts left and right. The issue we're going to run into for getting him is we live in the tri-state area, and everybody we draft with are Jets fans. I have an auction tomorrow night, and they are going to jack that price up.
We don't do home leagues. So
I do.
Carry on.
And just to add, also, I jumped on this week as a little contributor for FF Face-Off. So every once in a while, I'll be putting up a little article for them. So Stack Attack's growing its roots, and we're getting out there.
Awesome. Congrats on that gig, man. I look forward to a lot of good things out of you there.
I just put the first article out about my Jets.
Yep. Is it also a victory lap for you that you're able to multitask and podcast and do your laundry at the same time?
You like that? You like that? My current spot is taken up by. Actually, well, here's the story behind it. I had a table.
Oh God!
I had a table that I put my laptop on. I put my water on it, and we went to a pet store, and my daughter bought a 14-cent fish, and I had to buy a $40 tank for it. And that table is now used for my Xbox.
Dude, I don't even want to get into fishes today. My son's fish for the last month has been here, and he is not with us anymore starting today.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I forgot to put the cone on the filter, and we lost 3 fish already.
All I'll say is R.I.P. Nemo.
We have one that's left. One survived.
Oh, boy.
His name is Fishy.
Just keep swimming. Keep swimming.
He's still alive for now.
Nemo.
All right, Andy, what's your victory lap today, man?
Man, the baseball guy hitting home runs in July. I was all on James Robinson in July. No one else was. I was. All right. I said it. He was the guy to get. And I can't pay up for him now, but so nice getting him late in the early puppies.
Yeah, you definitely called that, and we'll talk about that after the intros here a little bit deeper. My victory lap is football related also. I told you guys about a Dynasty startup I was in last week that I acquired 5 first-round picks. Same league, round 19, day before the game, Marquez Callaway. Boom, right, round 19 in a Dynasty startup, I get him. I probably have signed into that league about 4 times and double-checked to make sure it wasn't Antonio Callaway on accident, but it was Marquez, man. All right, so Joe Bond drafted him in Scott Fishbowl. Oh man, that's impressive. That's a winner right there.
That's a late one too.
Joe, that is going to be the hot man on waivers week 1 in Scott Fishbowl. I already put my bid in. It's already sitting there waiting.
Is Joe talking about James Robinson or Callaway?
Callaway.
All right.
Yeah, Joe, is that Robinson or
Oh,
Callaway?
I think it was Robinson because he
usually.
There he is. That's my man right there,
All right,
Joe.
all right.
There we go, Joe.
He'll be bidding with the rest of us on Marquez Callaway. He's talking about Robinson, but that's a hell of a pick too, Joe. We love that one too. Awesome. All right, Nick, what made you fall on your face this week? Crash and burn. Give it to me.
What fell on my face? I went to Florida for a work trip last week. I came back 5-10 pounds heavier. I came back 5-10 pounds heavier, so I just went to the liquor store today and I bought a 24-pack of Bud Light Seltzer. It's because they're only 100 calories, and that's not a shameless plug.
Where's your man card?
It's in my laundry right now.
He left it there. He washed it. All right, Andy, what do you got for me? I'm curious as to what you got for me.
My crash and burn has nothing to do with Lazy River, but it will have to do with being down at Cape May for the week. I actually fell asleep on the beach with my hat on, and if anyone could see, I have like a sunburn across my head, and I have sun poisoning on my nose. I'm gonna have to wear a hat for the rest of vacation just to do it.
You've never taken that hat off.
I didn't, and now I have a huge line going across my head.
I'll be there next week.
Nice.
All right, my crash and burn isn't that bad because I kind of signed off on it before it happened. But I told my wife a long time ago we have a par of 8 living things in this house, right? And now we're back up to par with 8. Dog number 3 has entered the building. But the crash and burn on it is you guys, everybody out there. I put up everywhere. I killed myself on Twitter to try to get this poll to name the dog. Nobody had my back. The dog name that won was stupid, and then the family changed it anyway. So if you voted for the name Freya, it didn't win. None of the choices won. The dog's name's Luna. All right. All right, who's pissed off this week? Who wants to start off being angry? Because I'm feeling good, so it's not really for me.
No, you go first.
Who's got the rant?
You go first.
All right,
Nick.
So I like doing home drafts. I did my first one yesterday. It's a long-standing 13-year league with a bunch of high school buddies we do every year. We couldn't meet in person, couldn't find a date, so we did a Google Sheet, and we Zoomed. So I had pick 6. It's a keeper. I had Gibson in the 14th and Waller in the 6th. So I'm like, all right, I'll take Eckler or Chubb at 6, and I'll go from there. We're sitting there. McCaffrey goes 1, no shock. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my phone, expecting to see, I think it was Kamara was the next best back. And I see Robert Woods, number 2. And everybody just stopped and stared for a second. And I said, pick submitted. Keep going. We kept going. Robert Woods is the number 2 pick. So I got Devontae Adams at 6 because I had Gibson.
Yeah, so what that is your classic case of somebody that needs to fill their roster before they start their bench players, and they're not taking the best player available. So they took Woods over Adams.
Adams, come on.
All right, that's your classic case of a crackhead right there. That's
and then
all.
Flipping round 2, his 2-3 turn, he took Rob Gronkowski.
All right. Free donation. Good job.
So
everyone's favorite nation.
That's the thing with these home leagues. You will study. I mean, we've been doing drafts for months, and then you have people now, they're going to pick up magazines, they're going to look at names, not realize who's on what team, and I'll take this guy. It's going to screw up your ADP. It's going to screw up your rankings. Just go into these drafts fluid and ready to adapt with anything crazy. I've actually, thankfully, I just convinced my one home league to go to Superflex, so I'm very excited about that with pick 5.
Nice. 0 home leagues, my dude. That's what it comes down to.
I enjoy them.
0.
I like taking the money.
I don't want to deal with the stupidity. I don't want to deal with the drama. I don't want to collect money. I'm actually done now. I'm over 20 drafts in, and I'm done. But I'm going to find a way to get an FFPC or an NFFC or something along those lines.
You're not done.
All right. Yeah, I know. I'll find more. I'll find more, but it's going to be against the best of the best. I'm not going to draft against my little cousin from Utica over there. So
yeah, why not? It's free money.
Pretty much because I don't have a little cousin from Utica. But all right, Andy, what do you got? You mad?
Not mad, a little disgruntled. First, I will say, any lady that has PCOS and is having trouble having a baby, it's very difficult. We were going through it. We had a miracle with my little man upstairs who doesn't like the podcast, but still, we're attempting a second one. So the alarm goes off on vacation at 6 a.m. Wife wakes me up and goes, "Go watch porn." I opened up the thing. there's actually some lube in there. So I'm having a great time. I'm like, all right, there's some lube in here. I can get going. And then all of a sudden, I'm done and I'm getting ready to go to the doctor. And then all of a sudden, I get her aunt going, how was the doctor? Wink, wink. And then her parents are like, how'd everything go? Like the entire house knew. And I'm just like, dude, I was like, everything flew good. I hope everything swims well. And I don't know. I'm just a little shocked that everyone knows about it. I'm like trying to keep it quiet. It was embarrassing. So much pressure getting up at 6 a.m. with lube. All right, I'm done.
I didn't expect that.
Wow.
Come on, man. Pressure.
I don't know if the viewership just spiked or plummeted. One of the two.
Oh boy! Wow.
All right, Nick.
All right.
So basically, the preseason is in full swing now. So we have some actual news and notes. So let's go through a couple things that happened this week that we're kind of focused on and how they're affecting the fantasy landscape. So starting with today. There was a trade. The Rams acquired Sony Michel.
Do the Rams have any more picks?
They hate picks.
I don't understand where their picks are coming from.
Yeah, I think they borrowed them from somebody else to trade them. So, Diana's in the chat room, so we're in trouble now.
Oh,
okay.
Crap. Oh, crap.
Andy's a goner. All right, so Sony Michel. I'm in a. I told you guys about the relegation league that I'm in. That's 4 leagues, and you get relegated, kind of like a soccer setup. And I was on the clock in the 15th round when I heard it, so I snatched up Sony Michel. And I'll tell you my opinion on that after you tell me yours, Nick. What do you think? What are you downgrading Henderson? Upgrading Michel? Do they pass each other?
Where they fall? One completely off the board now is Xavier Jones. He's gone.
Yeah.
There's no value anymore there. I don't know. I like Henderson, but I think Michel's going to have some good value there. It'll be interesting to see how they play it. He's got to acclimate to the offense, of course, but I wouldn't downgrade Henderson really. I would definitely spike up Michel. He's going to get the playing time now on a great offense. He's the winner here.
Right. Personally, I think there's room for close to 200 touches each.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of the situations where Michel actually had a chance to move to the front of the line of a running back room. We talked about it earlier in the offseason that Henderson, they were going to bring in some veteran somewhere, because even last year, like they say, oh, we love him. But Brown was getting touches. They just found a way to take the touches away from Henderson. They like him as a second back, and that's what he truly is. He's not a first and second down back.
No, and let's not forget the other side of the ball here. The Patriots, Ramandra Stevenson's a winner. Damian Harris is a winner.
I got many Ramandre Stevenson dynasty shares.
You've seen him. He's been crushing it this preseason. He looks fast. He looks good. He looks agile. He's going to play a role in that offense.
Right. I personally, to wrap this up, I think we're going to see a flip-flop. I think Sony Michel is going to go to the 6th or 7th round, and you're going to see Henderson fall to about the 8th. And that's what it is. It'll be an overdraft on Michel. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, I won't.
He's basically he's got some like unnatural stuff happening in his knee, like all kinds of bone-on-bone friction. Andy, you know a little bit about bone-on-bone after 6 a.m., right? But oh man, but
too soon.
Yeah, too soon. 5 minutes later. So I'm kind of out on Michel at where he's going to be drafted, and I've been out on Henderson since the beginning. So that's where I'm at. You agree with that, Nick?
Yeah. Michel's going to be way overdrafted. Henderson might slip a little bit. Depends where he goes. And then again, onto the New England side, Damian Harris and Stevenson, pretty good value picks right there. And don't forget James White.
Yep.
He's lurking.
Our buddy Clueless Lou is in the chat room. He says that Damian Harris is going to shoot up the draft boards.
No, he will. 100%.
I think that's the case, but are we going to trust Belichick and really think it's going to be a thing?
I don't trust Belichick. Jonas Gray.
Yeah, that's exactly. There we go. We can't forget that. All right, so bigger news was Travis Etienne out for the year. Liz Frank already on IR. It's a done deal, not coming back. Andy, in his victory lap, talked to us about James Robinson and how he was drafting him. Nick, where do you see Robinson being drafted now, and are there any other winners or losers in this situation?
Robinson, mid to late second round right now. He's
Damn!
right. He is right at the border with Joe Mixon.
Damn!
I was getting him in the ninth.
Right at the border with Joe Mixon. Him and Mixon, I think, are identical.
Oh,
Wow.
That's where he's going to go.
I have two ways why I want to shoot this down and say that I don't think that that's a smart thing to do.
But it's going to happen.
The second round is not smart. The third round, I don't even think is smart. Here's why. Because I truly believe that Carlos Hyde was going to play anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's great in pass protection. And what is going on in Jacksonville right now? Right?
Disaster.
A crappy offensive line and a rookie golden boy quarterback. So what do you need to do? You need to have your running back be great in pass protection, and Carlos Hyde is that. And you know who knows about that from his days in Ohio State? His coach. So he wasn't brought there on accident. Carlos Hyde's going to play. So I really don't think there's that much. Carlos Hyde is obviously going to be the biggest winner out of the two, because he's going from a, maybe 3 to 5 touch per game role to an 8 to 10 touch per game role. I truly believe. But in my opinion, the big winner here is going to be Twitter's favorite Jaguar, Laviska Shenault, because he will be manning all of those vacated slot snaps that ATN was going to steal from him.
He was lining up.
He's going to go back to a full-time role, and I think he's going to be – we were saying the opposite just a week ago, and we were saying Marvin Jones was the best receiver on the team for fantasy, and it's going to flip-flop and get all the Shenault you can now, and it's too late for me. I missed on it.
They're going to be losing so much. They're going to be in shootouts, and they're going to have to throw it. That team, poor Trevor Lawrence. And they were saying back in December what a crime it was for the Jets to be tanking for him. He went to a worse situation.
Yeah, isn't that a shame? Right.
It is. It blows my mind.
All right. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints a little bit. Word came out basically this morning. It looks like Bridgewater. That's not the Saints.
He was a Saint. He was a Saint.
Yeah, I wrote the wrong name. Looks like Jameis Winston won the job, right? It's awesome. Pretty evident. Obviously, Taysom Hill's going to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think that this has an effect on fantasy with Winston in the position?
Well, obviously it helps Callaway. That's a given. Traquan, I think he's still hurt. And I think Kamara gets that big boost because with Taysom Hill, I mean, he's still going to see the field, but Jameis is not going to run every 5 seconds like Hill would attempt to.
Right.
So give yourself a boost of Kamara. He's back in the RB3 fold.
Right. And the other thing too is Taysom Hill was not just running on the goal line. He just never checked down. He thought that, he runs around like a crazy person and thinks he can make every single throw. So he just never checked down. And Jameis, if he's learned anything from the 30 for 30 days, hopefully he's going to bring some of that back. Andy,
he had LASIK.
I know you just drafted Winston a few minutes ago, Andy. So you're buying into it. You're feeling good about it.
Yeah, round 13 and the super flex. I'm very happy.
Right,
he's my third quarterback, so I'm good.
In a league with INTs as a negative category. Well done.
Round 13, okay, all right.
So let's fix my my wrong here, and let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater, who looks like he also won the job.
He did.
So what's the general consensus that you're thinking fantasy impact for the Denver Broncos there?
Jerry Jeudy to the moon. That's what I'm thinking. Jerry Jeudy to the moon. He loves Jeudy. He's going to hit him left and right.
Okay, I can't disagree with that.
I think Cortland Sutton takes a dip, and I think Jeudy takes a big rise.
Yeah, Drew Lock is more of a big arm kind of guy, so that kind of favored Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
Judy's a good slot receiver underneath.
Amazing route runner.
What about my guy Noah Fant?
Yeah,
Noah Fant, possible career year. Teddy Bridgewater is known for the check down. He likes the intermediate routes.
He had Kyle Rudolph back in Minnesota when he was breaking out.
Yes, I think there's something there. Absolutely. All right, so the last quarterback job that is still kind of up in the air, but looks like it got a little bit of clarity. What do you think about New England?
I think Mac Jones is running away with it. I just find it weird how last season, Tyrod Taylor gets his lung punctured and Justin Herbert runs in, and now Cam Newton misunderstood a COVID protocol, and now Mac Jones is running with the job. So it's like back-to-back years we're having a medical issue. But I think Mac Jones is I think he's the guy. It looks good. I think Bill's going to roll him out week 1.
Yeah, I have Cam as my QB3 in the Scott Fish Bowl, so I desperately want him to win the job, at least for the short term. But I'm totally stoked about a quarterback wearing number 50, so I'm down with Mac Jones. And he basically – Mac Jones is basically built like me, so I'm cool with the dad bod quarterback.
Smoking a cigar, dad bod.
Yep.
Cigar part's the best part.
Right. Yep, definitely. All right, guys, let's transition back. We started this week the Stack Attack Rotisserie Football League, right? And we're going to expand on this next year and add additional divisions to it and add a little bit of a charitable component to it, which we'll talk about next week a little bit deeper. But we started the draft and we're in round, what did you say, Andy? We're in round 13 now already?
Yeah.
A couple of the guys that are in the league are in the chat room right now. Notably, some of our favorite guests that we've had on in the past, Micah Henry at Fantasy Central 1. He's in the league. And our main dude, Josh Leiskowitz from Pro Football Focus. We love that guy. He's doing great in that, and he's killing me and snaking every single one of my picks. So the league sets up as we draft. It's 18 rounds. We draft 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 2 super flex, and then 8 to the bench. Okay, no kickers, no defenses, and it's rotisserie style, where the categories are 8 categories: passing yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, non-throwing, and first downs, non-throwing. Okay. So Andy, let's start with your team. What kind of strategy did you come in with, and were you able to execute it? And let's talk through some of your picks, and let's kind of critique this thing and see what roto football looks like, because truth be told, nobody in this league had any idea what to do with this because nobody's ever done it before, including us.
Even during the draft, a lot of people were like, really? Oh, it's not head-to-head? Oh,
yeah. Why'd you do that? Is this tight end premium? No, it's roto.
Is it 6 points for a touchdown? So it's
roto.
So it was a little different, and I was a little shocked. I went a different route. I normally, obviously we have a chance to start 3 quarterbacks at a time, and obviously doing that will take away from other stats. But I was picking out a 9th spot. I couldn't pass up on Mahomes. He was there on 9th. I was taking him, and although I think that a Lamar Jackson type, Kyler Murray type will be a little better because they'll get you close to a lot more rushing yards, I feel like taking the elite quarterback in the elite offense was the way to go.
Yeah, but here's the thing that Mahomes adds. INTs are a negative category. He doesn't throw many INTs. Your passing yards are going to be through the roof. He runs. He rushes for first downs. You're going to hit every category with him 100%. So well done, man. Like that's basically a 7-category guy.
And what I did was my second quarterback I took in the 5th round was Jalen Hurts, who gives me that running ability. And I know you like that pick. Yes. And, a chance to really be solid this year. So I like pairing them up together. And obviously adding Winston with his 50 interceptions, as Brian says, as my 3rd quarterback in the 13th round, I'm okay with. Normally I like to, obviously, if anyone's listen to these podcasts know I like to fade the wide receiver as late as I can, and I did it all the way up to I think round 4. Round 6 I took Tyler Lockett. What I did was I went different. I went with a top tight end in the 3rd round with Kittle, which I normally don't do, and then I went with Jonathan Taylor, who I was actually thinking about taking at the 9th pick overall because I still love him. And I know Nick does too. I was thinking about taking him 9th, but he slid to me in the 2nd round. So I took him in the 2nd round. And I went with a guy who has never burned me, but has burned other people, Joe Mixon, in the 3rd round. So, I went with a different, and then I added my favorite guy in round 7, especially after that Instagram thing came out with Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. That's my boy. I've been telling you about that for weeks.
There's no word out there about this. This is quiet. So I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but it's there.
I like him anyway. I told you he's getting 120 targets. He's in that slot. Burrow's going to be running for his life because they passed on the tackle in the 1st round.
Mistake.
And he's going to get some extra receptions. So just filling out the team like that. Another guy I got, my 3 wide receivers I love them all. Michael Pittman in round 9 is a steal. He's going to be a monster this year. And I've been saying that for weeks now. And anyone who's doing their home drafts, make sure you get him. So other than that, I'm just filling out some guys. Obviously, some fan favorites like we love Marvin Jones. I took him late. So I like the overall thing. I try to go a lot of running backs. I got Gus the Bus from RU that my boy likes over here. And, I think I'm doing pretty well. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Nice. All right, Nick. Before we talk about your team, tell me a little bit about that Jamar Chase Instagram post, because that was just a passing thing. It didn't really come out much.
I'm not sure. His pregnant girlfriend posted something about putting hands on. I don't know. It went nowhere.
Yeah, it said pretty lame, right?
Yeah.
Putting your hands on your pregnant girl.
Something like that. So I don't know.
But that's the thing with all these investigations of domestic violence in sports. It's always several months after the actual incident before it really goes public. And we might have gotten a little bit of a heads up before something's going down.
He's off my draft list.
Yeah, this might be an opportunity to go hit the sports book and bet some unders on him too. I'm gonna have to check that out later on.
And it doesn't matter because
I was doing it anyway.
The beat writer from Cincy was saying that he can't even get separation from the deep.
He's dropping passes, everything.
So Boyd is the guy.
I'm in. I buy it, Andy. I buy it.
He took a year off.
I'm the baseball guy.
All right.
Bye.
Nick, let's do your team, man, and then you guys could crush mine. So
all right, fair enough. Started at 6. I took Zeke. I think Zeke is rapidly rising, and I'm in. He crushed it the year before, not last year, but the year before last, and he's fully healthy. The team's healthy. Line's healthy. Dak is hopefully back. After him, took my boy Eckler, so I went running back. Had to. Shocker. But after that, but seeing quarterbacks starting to go off the board, I wanted to get in on the bunch. I took Justin Herbert. Actually, I took Zach Wilson later on in the draft as my second quarterback because I just wanted a share of Zach Wilson somewhere. But don't have the scramble quarterback, which kind of hurts me. This draft completely, because I'm drafting in a way almost like I normally would draft, but then you got to consider, like you just said, the mobile quarterbacks, Lamar, Hurts, Cam Newton, if he started, could have been a good option. So maybe Zach Wilson runs a little bit. Fields, if he starts, he could be a good option. So that mobile quarterback gives you a lot more tools versus like a roto baseball. Hey, it's a 4 or 5 tool player. Like you just said, Mahomes could be an 8 tool player. He's that much more valuable.
Well, I don't know how many receptions Mahomes getting, so
he might get one. Brett Favre's first clear pass his own completion.
Right.
Receiver wise, I took some sleepers. I took Cooks. I took T. Higgins with the whole Chase news. And then I took Allen Robinson and Robert Woods rounding off there. For my starters, took Jonnu, Jamal Williams, Nico Collins. I'm taking some upside flyers there. I think Nico Collins is going to hit double-digit touchdowns this year.
Wow.
So I wanted to jump in.
Wow.
I think Brandon Cooks leads the Texans in yards, and I think Nico Collins hits double-digit touchdowns.
Wow.
You gotta say. I
gotta find a way to bet on that. Oh,
no,
God.
With Mac Jones, I think he's going to use Jonnu a lot more too.
He is.
So,
he is.
Yep.
Safety blanket.
And we've been a Jonnu guy from the beginning, even with Cam.
Let's go back to these days when Mark Sanchez was the quarterback. Dustin Keller was a huge popular target. Rookies, they go to the tight end.
Right.
And unfortunately, Cam Newton, if he was, I think he still would have hit Jonnu because he had the Greg Olsen days. Greg Olsen was putting up fantasy career numbers. I think Jonnu could have done the same. with him.
Pigbird says, I don't even know if the entire Texans are going to score.
Well, they got to throw the ball because they're going to be losing 70 freaking points every game.
Yo, breaking news. I just got a text from my mom saying my wife's going to kill me. So I don't know what's going to happen next week, but I might not be here.
Oh, man. Nick might not be here either. I might be flying solo. Oh, my God.
I'll be having Bud Light seltzers.
So low, you just don't know.
I'll be having seltzers.
All right, let's roast my team. I got lucky enough to get the 101, which I did not want.
Fixed.
I wanted the 104 because you guys know I wanted Travis Kelce, but I didn't get him. So my plan of attack was basically I wanted to get players that did something out of the ordinary, that they were exceptional at, that wasn't what their position was supposed to be for. So I wanted running backs that are very high reception. I wanted quarterbacks that are big runners, etc., like Andy spoke about earlier. And then if I succeeded at that, I wanted to take my wide receivers. I don't care about these little PPR guys. I wanted down the field, heavy yardage, touchdown scoring wide receivers. So here's how it worked out. Obviously, at the 101, I ended up with with CMC. I was going to take Mahomes, and somehow he slid to number 9. I think this whole draft would have been different because nobody knew what they were doing. If I would have went Mahomes number 1, everything would have went different. But when I took CMC number 1, I think that changed the course of the whole draft.
Quarterbacks sort of flew up.
Right. So at the 2-3 turn, I double dipped on quarterback and went with Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Now I know Dak's hurt, but I figured that Dak makes up for the low passing volume of Lamar with very high 5,000-yard upside. So they kind of counteract each other. So it's like I got 2 4,000-yard quarterbacks, but I got a 1,000-yard rushing guy out of Lamar on the other end. Dak should also be way up there in passing touchdowns, which Lamar will lack in a little bit, and they kind of counteract that there as well. So they make for a good team to each other. At the next turn, I went with Mike Evans. Like I said, I wanted wide receivers that were end zone beasts, and he's one of them. I'm not really worried about what his catch total is going to be, but Myles Gaskin I took because I know he's going to catch 50 passes. So that kind of balances out with that. After that, my next turn was Claypool and Beckham. Same thing. Touchdown, Hogs, right? At the 8-9 turn, 2 of my favorite players in any format this year, Trey Sermon and Noah Fant. Noah Fant we'll talk about in a few minutes. He's one of my favorite tight ends this year, 100%. And then I just took advantage of Sony Michel being on the clock at that moment. It probably might have been a little bit of an overdraft. Mike Williams is one of my favorite players for this year. And then I started dipping into the backups. I took Daniel Jones as my 3rd quarterback. Same thing. I'm not going to play 3 quarterbacks all the time with him being the 3rd because he throws interceptions, and I don't want to mess with that as a negative category. But he does offer the rushing upside, and he could be a big contributor from a yardage perspective in the air too. So I'll take that. And then I just took Gesicki as a backup tight end that I really don't have much intention of using that much. So roast me. I feel pretty good about it. My notes are flying all over the place.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I created the damn format, so I should have some kind of plan.
I like the quarterback thing you did, Lamar.
Yeah.
Dak.
It would feel a lot better if Dak was healthy, but
he'll play week 1.
So, yep. All right.
Don't sell yourself short on Gesicki either. I like that guy. He's gonna have I know you don't think he's in the right system and everything, but did you see him throw the ball from the front of his house, run through his house, and catch it? That was skills.
That was
on
impressive.
YouTube. Yeah, come on. Not many people could do that. So if he could do that, Tua can hit him too. Then
Tua can hit both of them. All right. So let's start talking some tight ends. We already ran through our quarterback episode, running back episode, wide receiver episode. So let's do some tight ends now, I guess. You guys all know I'm Kelce ride or die this year, and I'm setting myself up for it. I have so many shares, but the bottom line for me is if you look at Kelsey and Waller, whoever's number 3, if it is a healthy Kittle, if it's Andrews, if somebody like Hawkinson steps up, they're going to be 50% of Kelsey and Waller, and you have to admit that. That's just what it is. Nobody was even 50% of Kelsey and Waller last year. They didn't get there. So I look at it this way. I'm going to take Kelsey as my tight end in the first round, and I'm going to compare what your tight end is with my wide receiver 3, right? Because that's how it's going to work out. When you take a running back or a wide receiver, and I didn't, we're comparing wide receiver 3s, and your wide receiver 3 is not going to be 50%. Mine's not going to be 50% less than yours. I'm going to hit it, and it's going to work. And it's going to be a Mike Williams or a Will Fuller or somebody like that. And it's going to work out, and I'm going to be right there. So I'm going to have a huge advantage over everybody except for the Waller owner in a head-to-head matchup. And I love it. And I'm going to keep on doing it. The bottom line is too, you can even say, oh, but 3 wide receivers, etc. We could start 5 because we have 2 flexes. Well, guess what? I'm going to beat you to your flex because I'm going to have 4 starting running backs on my team before you get to your 3rd, and maybe even before you get to your 2nd, because I have so much Mike Davis, I have so much Trey Sermon, and these guys are going to make it. So when you go real heavy running back and go 0 wide receiver, but you know the player pool, Kelsey in the first or Waller in the second works. And I sign off on it. There's no scenario where I'm going to tell you not to take Kelsey in the first round if you pick 4th or later. So that's my 2 cents. Anyone want to argue with me on that, or just kind of go with it?
Kelsey is a first-round pick.
Yep. His ADP is 9 at this point.
Yeah, he. So I had him last night. He actually almost made it back to me at 6 in the second round, and I was going to use him as a flex with Waller.
Like, you still talking about home drafts? Come on.
I'm just saying, you can't pass up on Kelsey.
I want to know, Jeff, is it a coincidence that we're talking about tight ends on the same day that of my rant? I just don't know. I mean,
yeah, I made a facial expression. I thought you picked up on it, but apparently you did.
It was in my head. It was my head.
Okay,
literally. All
right. So obviously, like Nick said, it's home league season now. All of the dinos and all that are behind most people. There's not too many tight end premium drafts coming anymore. We're basically looking at a standard 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1, maybe 2 flex setup as we're talking about that. Because everybody that's listening from this point on, that's what they're drafting, right? So, Nick, do you advocate Waller in the second round maybe at the 2-3 turn? Is that something you would feel comfortable doing?
2-3 turn, 100%. I think mid-2 is about the range I would look at Waller. I think if you start a draft at, say, Zeke at 5 and you get Waller in the second, I think that's a home run start. Especially with home drafts. If you take Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, you're not taking another tight end at all. There's no reason to waste a roster spot in a backup tight end. Same thing goes with quarterback. You're taking Mahomes, you're taking Lamar. There's no reason, or Allen, Murray. There's no reason to take a second person in that position. Just stock your bench with more position players because, hey, your guy gets hurt, you got extra bench pieces to trade.
Right. So there's actually your argument against taking Kelsey in the first. So you just said Zeke Waller. Is that better than Kelsey Gibson?
I think so.
They both work.
That's tough.
They both work, man.
I think they're both solid strategies.
They both
Pick
work.
your poison.
I'm feeling good about it. If you give me either of those starts, I am in.
Yeah, or if Kittle ended his second, early third.
No, you keep him. Keep him. I don't want that. I don't want that. We don't know the QB situation. That's an unknown. So you're betting on something to happen that you don't know whether or not it's going to be happening. And he's coming off of an injury-riddled season. It's just not for me. That's all. Not in the 3rd round. Not for me. Andy, Kittle, 3rd round.
I just took him in the 3rd round. So what am I going to say? No. Yeah, I mean, I took him. I wanted to get a top tight end. I think the quarterback is going to. It doesn't matter. I think they're going to look for him no matter who it is. Obviously, he's going to be healthy coming in. I'm going to take a shot. It's Roto. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go. I'm the baseball guy.
Well, we're not even talking about that anymore. So,
all right.
but the fact that neither of you were really pounding the table for Ayuk or for Debo last week, I'll give you Kittle then. So you're kind of backing up your own words there. So I'll take it, and we'll sign off on Kittle in the third round. What about Kyle Pitts in a redraft situation?
He's going too
with
high.
ADP 58.
He's going too high. I don't know. It's a rookie.
A rookie is a rookie.
I don't know. How often a rookie tight ends come in and blow up the league?
Never.
I mean,
Kelsey didn't even do it.
No, I don't see it. I'm staying away. The ADP is too high.
Yeah. I wouldn't even rank him as my fourth tight end. I think I would put him about seventh.
Zero shares.
I don't really draft in that area. I honestly, Nick, I think that his ADP is so high because everybody just did rookie drafts and dynasty startups and everything. So Pitts was embedded into our brains. And now you just like, oh, I didn't get a share. I got to get a share. I got to get a share. I got to get a share. And you end up doing this, and it's just not the right thing to do in redraft at this point. Not at that price. I wouldn't do it.
Most college stud tight ends don't have to block, and then they come into the pros and have to block. That's where they have their difficulties.
Well, we're yet to see how they're actually going to use him because he really kind of played as more of a wide receiver at the University of Florida, and he was always in space. He was always wide open 100% of the time. I don't know if he's going to have those assignments so much. But just what you said, the fact that might exist is reason enough for me to stay away. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. I think I have one share in a redraft so far. All right. Next on the block is a guy I know that both of you have had some interest in. About 8 spots later is Hawkinson with an ADP of 64. And at the same time, you could tell me where you put Hawkinson versus Mark Andrews, who is at ADP 65. So they're being drafted exactly the same. So which one of those you like?
So Hawkinson, I probably would take more just because he's going later. And he's probably the wide receiver 1 in Detroit right now, besides Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. But isn't it the same situation in Baltimore?
It is. Honestly, there's Sammy Watkins right now.
You got Sammy Watkins.
He's a healthy receiver.
That boy good.
So, I mean, who would rather catch passes from Lamar Jackson or Jared Goff? Right. And did Jared Goff have a good tight end in L.A.?
No.
Did he have a number 1 tight end? I mean, he had decent tight ends. He had Higbee.
What?
But were they putting up high-end numbers?
Well, he had Gerald Everett too, who I'm a big fan of, but he never really. I mean, he had so many offensive weapons. It was check down city for the tight end. They were the third, fourth option.
It was, and now he's probably the first option in Detroit.
Right. All right. So, gun to your head: Hawkinson or Andrews, or neither.
Hawkinson, just because of the later ADP. I think they produce similar.
They're the same.
I thought
64, 65.
Yeah, same. Andrews.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Andrews.
All right.
I'll take Andrews, and the same ADP.
You just switched. All right.
I'm taking neither.
You said gun to head. We could choose one.
Right. So if you put a gun to my head and say, you want this or that, I say, I don't want anything. Get me and leave me alone.
So you're gone.
Don't shoot.
I'd rather wait a little bit. If I don't get the top 3, I'd rather wait a little bit at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. There's a big fall off then of about 2 rounds, and then you get to Dallas Goddard. Are we scared that Zach Ertz is still on the team?
No. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you better be
I'm thinking the wrong thing there.
Yo, that's one of my super sleepers is Zach Ertz. I think him and Ertz. I mean, Ertz and Hurts together are gonna.
Ertz and Hurts.
It's gonna be really nice. They have a nice little connection.
Goddard hurts when I Ertz.
Yeah, I think Ertz is a value.
Well, the problem with Ertz is number 1, he's scared to get tackled, And number 2 is like he's the least physical player in the world. He gets open, but then he catches the ball and falls on the ground. He has no run after the catch ability whatsoever. So Goddard does exactly the opposite. He's physical, he's big, and he's a strong dude, and he can get away. So they kind of do opposite things. Philadelphia tends to use a lot of 2 tight end sets, so they're both going to be on the field. But I tend to agree with both of you that I'm just going to stay away from Goddard as much as I can, because all offseason, Goddard's been drafted as if Ertz was already gone, but he's still here.
Yep, the rumors were flying all off season. Ertz is being traded. Ertz is being traded. He's still there.
Right. All right. We got a quick quarterback question in the chat.
This is for you.
And I'm going to answer it very honestly. Hurts in the 8th or 2 in the 9th. This is a fantasy league. It's not real life. You take Hurts in the 8th 100% of the time. He has 800-yard rushing upside. Tua doesn't. Tua's upside, if everything works out great, is 400 rushing yards. He'll probably throw for more yards. He's definitely going to be much more efficient than Hurts, less interceptions, but Hurts is by far the better player for fantasy because he's a running back with the quarterback moniker. All right, back to tight ends. The next tier is an either or at 95 and 96 between Logan Thomas and Noah Fant.
I'm out on Logan Thomas. Give me Fant.
Out. Why out?
We've been out for a while.
We've been out for a while on him. We're not touching him.
Right. The bottom line is that Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger. He's going to throw the ball down the field all the time, even when his neck is broken and turned around backwards.
He did that.
He is not doing this dink and dunk stuff, and Logan Thomas is not getting down the field. Not when you have Samuel and you have Scary Terry, man. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a 4th option here. So I'm just not interested. I don't think he's going to replicate it. And a lot of people are saying that he's going to. But I can tell you one thing, that Jeff's best bet of the week, the prop bet of the week, is Noah Fant over 650.5 yards on FanDuel. Go hammer that right now. I don't like betting overs, but 650 yards. On DraftKings, it's 690 yards. That shows you the value you're getting in this bet, that another book is putting another 40 yards on top of it. So we're all in on Noah Fant this year. That's one of my guys. I'm loving the value there. I will take him over our guy, any day of the week, Logan Thomas. That's last year. This year's news is going to be Noah Fant. Cool? All right, Andy, I'm going to lean on you for the next either or, both being drafted around 112. Tyler Higbee and Mr. Tunyon.
Higbee all the way. I think he's going to break out this year. His value is going to be amazing. I think the quarterback upgrade, I've been saying this for 6-7 weeks now. I think getting Stafford now, he's going to have so many weapons. I think he's going to break out. I think Stafford's going to have a huge year. I think the Rams are going to have a huge year. Goff is garbage. And I think Higbee's my man.
All right.
Yeah. Joel Everett's gone. So it's only Higbee there.
As he said in his article, too.
Yeah. And
I said 6 weeks ago.
We didn't publish the tight end article yet.
Yeah, but if you look at
that comes out tomorrow.
All right, you got
we wanted them to listen and watch first before we give them the article.
But old expert in there is 2019 Higbee. He broke out. He had 89 targets. I mean, he had injuries last year, but now Everett's gone, and now he's got Matt Stafford, the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Loves throwing to his tight end.
So look out. I think Higbee's a great buy.
All right, I'll take Mike Gesicki, and you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. He's a slot receiver. He's not a tight end. They drafted number 6 overall Jalen Waddle, who was the best slot receiver in the draft. He's going to take a lot of reps off this guy. They drafted Hunter Long, who's an inline blocking tight end that can do everything and is also a good pass catcher. Gesicki is a free agent at the end of the year. His role is on the decline. Gesicki is a great Dynasty buy. because he's going to be with Trevor Lawrence next year. They have a huge hole. They have a huge hole
Wow.
in the position. And little known fact is Gesicki and Urban Meyer are very, very close. Gesicki actually, when he chose to go to Penn State, cried. And the first phone call he made was to Urban Meyer to apologize for not going to Ohio State. So these guys are coming back together. Jacksonville has nothing at the position. They waived Tim Tebow. All options are off. Gesicki will be on Jacksonville next year. He is playing for a contract, so he's going to bowl out when he's on the field. But I don't think he's going to see nearly the snap count that you saw last year. So I'm only drafting him as a tight end too in situations where I don't have Kelsey. Like that league, the Roto league that we did, I drafted Noah Fant as my tight end one. I took Gesicki as my backup there. And that's the only way I'm drafting him this year. And that comes from a Dolphins fan. So take that for what it's worth. All right, your next either or is probably the easiest one out there for us. It's Jonnu Smith at 139 or Evan Ingram at the same EDP.
Don't even say anybody else.
Come on. Drops Evan Ingram.
Yep.
Nothing to do with him this year.
We love everything about Jonnu this year.
Yep.
Everything about him. Little injury scare. I think we're through that already.
Yeah. Injury scare were dumb, but yeah, he's going to crush. He's going to crush it this year. Hunter Henry is not a concern.
Rookie quarterback.
Hey, on a side note, Jonnu Smith had a rushing touchdown last year.
That means what?
Absolutely nothing, but he had a rushing
6
touchdown.
points.
It is 6 points.
Whether it's receiving, all right.
He'll line
Absolutely nothing.
He'll line up as a fullback.
Which is what you're about to become. All right, so where we at with Gronk, man? I love Gronk this year. I love him at an ADP of 153. 5 months older than Mr. Kelsey. I'm all in, bro.
Not concerned about O.J. Howard or Cameron Brate?
No, he's 100% touchdown dependent. I know that if he doesn't score, he's basically going to be a zero.
Yeah, you're right.
I Tom Brady doesn't recruit you out of Cabo for nothing, man. He wanted this guy on the team. Last year was an adjustment. He's going to get peppered with targets.
He left the WWE too, right?
He did leave wrestling. Yeah. He was a 24/7 champion when he left.
Yes, that was a huge missed opportunity for him to lose the 24/7 championship in the end zone after scoring a touchdown. Bad job, WWE and the NFL on that.
That would have been fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, Nick, one of the guys you talked about in your article was Troutman as one of your sleepers.
Yes.
So what do you think about him? Tell me what you like or don't like about him this
year. He avoided a major injury scare, which is a huge relief. I think he's going to play the Jimmy Graham role.
Wow.
He's 6'5". Peyton's going to try and do it. The Saints traded up to him in the third round last year, the 2020 draft.
That's important.
So when somebody trades up, especially the current coaching staff, he's going to be involved. So he is going absolutely late, all off the board. He's undrafted in every home league I've seen. But I think he's going to have some good he's going to have some good tight end 2 value, be able to fill in as a tight end 1. If we're 0 tight ends here. So if I'm taking Jonnu, I might take Troutman just a little later just to see, mix and matchup play. I like him. He's a big guy. Jimmy Graham type role.
I have a feeling that our DFS live stream weekly that me and Andy are doing, we're going to talk about Troutman very often because he's going to be a value because he's being drafted right now as like the 18th tight end overall. So he's going to be one of these $3,000 like freebies at the end of your DFS lineup, and he's going to be a plug and play sometimes.
Winston's going to air it out, like we said. So
yep, and he's going to be he'll be in a situation where if he goes 4 receptions for 50 yards, he's going to pay off his salary in DFS, and if you get the touchdown,
so Jameis is drafted 2016, I believe, right? Let me just read the stat line off to you. Cameron Brate. 2016, 8 touchdowns. 2017, 6 touchdowns. 2018, 6 touchdowns.
I like it.
Jameis Winston's now the quarterback, and Troutman's the tight end. 5 to 10 touchdowns inbound.
I like it, and you're not including OJ Howard in that either.
No, I'm not.
Yep.
And
you're just talking about one guy.
Plus, you're talking about less weapons too. Winston is going to probably lean on him a little more.
Well, actually, here's OJ Howard, 2017, 6 touchdowns. 2018, 5 touchdowns.
Right.
So he's throwing double-digit touchdowns at tight ends.
So Troutman can get 8 touchdowns.
If he gets 8 touchdowns, he's a steal.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm getting excited for DFS now because I can't wait for this.
What's his price week 1? He's going to be a great plug.
Yeah, I haven't started working on week 1 yet, and I know the pricing's up. I didn't start that yet.
He's playing if I'm not mistaken, he's playing the Packers week 1 too. So that's going to be a shootout.
Right. Nice. All right, Nick. Let's close it up with the tight ends. A couple other sleepers. You interested in Cole Kmet, and you mentioned Gerald Everett before. Any of them or anybody else from you want to give a preview of your article that I might have left off?
I think Cole Kmet, we're a year away from him being fantasy relevant, and I think Everett's the same thing. I don't think he's going to be too much of an impact in Seattle. I feel like we try and draft those Seattle tight ends every year, and it just never pans out.
True.
All right, real quick. Troutman's 4,600 on FanDuel.
That's 100 over minimum, right?
It's 41.
Come on.
It's like 4.
But Andy, FanDuel, you need the touchdown.
Yeah.
DraftKings, where it's full PPR, and you could flex the extra tight end, and their minimum value is, I believe, 3,000. That's where I'm interested in them. Absolutely. I'm going to have Kelsey and Troutman. Perfect. Boom. Find that information for me real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of dynasty targets because I've been doing dynasty startups left and right, rookie drafts, everything. Everyone knows about Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State. He's a complete tight end. He's like, Nick was just saying, a year away. A lot of these tight ends are always a year away. The rookie tight end never really seems to pan out. It's usually a year 3 thing with them. Once Ebron leaves after next season, depending on the quarterback situation, Freiermuth's going to be a superstar. And my guess is that next year we'll be talking about him at this time as a possible low end tight end 1, possible tight end 2.
CJ Hawkinson range.
Yeah, I agree with that. The second one being drafted is Brevin Jordan out of Miami. I'm not as high on him. He's a little bit too small to play in line. He's not a good blocker. He's more of a slot receiver than anything else. But as our guy Mike said before, what the hell else is going on in Houston right now? So there might be some targets available for him. You might actually get a couple of weeks where he pops off this year for fantasy, but he's probably a couple years away. He's not nearly the stash that Freiermuth is for me. I'm much higher on second-year tight end Harrison Bryant, who we're talking about DFS, won me some big bucks last year. There was, I don't remember, there was 2 weeks in a row, but the second week he popped off for 2 touchdowns at minimum value and took us to the bank. And I love him for that. I draft him everywhere I possibly can. I have him he's on my Scott Fishbowl team. And it was just like, it was just like a trophy pick because I'm like, I got to pick somebody. I'll pick a kicker up later on. But
real quick, DraftKings, Kelsey, 8,300.
Yes.
Troutman, 2,900.
Yeah, we're in.
My God,
they're both going to be in my week 1 lineup. Make it happen. Watch
it has
this.
to be.
Yep, absolutely. All right, after Harrison Bryant, my next we already talked about is Hunter Long. I talked about how Gesicki's going to be out of there at the end of this year, one way or the other. They drafted Hunter Long in, I believe it was the 4th round, maybe the 3rd round out of Boston College. He's the same type of player that Freiermuth is. He's going to be able to do a little bit of everything. He won't really be in the tight end 1 conversation next year. He'll be a back end tight end 2, but you might be able to see him 3-4 years from now be able to scratch that low end tight end 1 category. 2 guys I like from the Chargers with Jared Cook only on a 1-year deal is Trey McKitty and Donald Parham. Either one of them, whichever one shows better, it has a chance to pop off. But my absolute favorite one, no, it's not Albert O coming off of the injury. It's Kylan Granson, man. I love this guy. I absolutely love him. 4th rounder out of SMU with the Indianapolis Colts. He's behind Mo Alley Cox in the pecking order. He's a great pass catcher. He showed up really well at the Senior Bowl. The Colts brass fell in love with him, and he's going to be a future star. Probably a 0 for this year. Don't draft him. But if you're in a dynasty league, you need to pick this guy up and stash him. I think I have him on every single one of my dynasty teams. He's my guy this year, and he's going to be a star. I got burned by SMU once before with James Prochet, but I'm not going to do it again, bro. Prochet is a stud, man. He's a great, great football player. He's going to be on the field with them. He plays a lot of special teams. He can do a lot, man. He's a good ball player, but he's not a good fantasy football player.
Yo, speaking of value, real quick, I know Nick is going to love this one. 2,500 on DraftKings. Tyler Croft.
Yes, we did not talk about him.
We did not.
Really quick, Tyler Croft. Two touchdown catches from our boy Zach Wilson. Chris Herndon's trash. Tyler Croft's a starting
cross
tight end.
him off then.
He's a starting tight end for the Jets on an offense that's going to pass a lot.
$3.
All right.
I wouldn't draft him, but DFS, he might be a very, very sneaky play.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up all of our positional breakdowns. We did the quarterbacks, we did the running backs, wide receivers, and now tight ends. I do not want to do a whole episode on defense, and I will never speak about kickers. So, Nick, why don't you talk us through a little bit about team defense and any possible teams that you're looking at this year?
Yeah, team defenses.
Let me get a pen because I'm not doing any research on this. I got to write this down.
So team defenses are not drafted until the last 2 rounds, but even maybe the last 3 rounds if you want to take one that you like a little early. You like the way the board's fallen. I stream defenses. I don't draft the top defense and say, all right, I'm starting them every week. Because are you going to start the Bills defense against Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to roster a second defense in that case. So I stream. And what I like to do in the beginning of every draft season is look for that defense that has multiple weeks of a good matchup. So it's one less waiver claim. It's one less ad drop. I found 2 defenses that kind of fit that bill. My favorite one right now is the Broncos. Week 1, they're playing the Giants in New York or Jersey, however you want to consider it.
And Jones takes sacks and he puts the ball on the ground.
Week 2 in Jacksonville with a terrible offensive line. So I'm thinking that's a pretty safe bet there.
Okay.
3,300 on DraftKings.
All right.
Not bad, not bad.
Sixth best defense.
Yeah, so outside the Broncos, I like the Rams. Where do I have them here? I got it written down here. Who are they playing week 1? There it is. They're playing the Bears. Andy Dalton, Sunday Night Football.
Sign me up.
Go Bears.
Yeah, but you gotta pay. You gotta pay up for the Rams, though.
Yeah,
they're going to be one of the first drafted, if not the first.
That is the only issue with that.
And guys, don't draft defenses early. Don't be that guy.
No. And then week 2, they're playing the Colts. Injured Carson Wentz, possible good one. Other than that, week 1, I mean, we'll talk about some good defenses to stream every week. But Broncos are a good one. Rams are a good one. Bills are playing the Steelers. That might be a good one, but you have to pay up for the Bills for that defense. Ravens are playing the Raiders. That might be a good option there. I wouldn't touch – like the Buccaneers are the top-rated defense. I don't get – they're going to play the Cowboys week 1. They're going to give you 4 or 5 points, maybe tops.
I think the Broncos clear-cut
I think the Broncos is the clear-cut number 1.
Clear-cut.
Just going down the list, I mean, the Seahawks are playing the Colts, but they're on the road. 49ers, they're pretty good. They're playing the Lions, so that could be a good option for week 1.
I'll tell you what one of my plans is for this year, and I'm not sure how it's going to work out yet, is I'm planning on targeting against the Pittsburgh Steelers as often as I can because No, all we've talked about is Najee Harris, bad offensive line.
Give
You
up
think
sacks.
Ben Roethlisberger could get away from anybody anymore?
No.
I'm going to take the 4 or 5 sacks a game and take the free sacks, one point here, 1 point there, and pray for a couple of interceptions because Ben's, a YOLO type of quarterback. You're going to give up a lot of yards. So if your league is focused on the yardage, it's not going to work. But if sacks and turnovers are there, I think it'll work.
Yeah, and just another couple defenses I quickly spotted. Vikings at Bengals. Bengals offensive line's terrible. The 49ers might be a good 2-week play. They got the Lions and the Eagles. So could potentially be a good, but they're on the road, which is
right. Writing that down.
But I think it's obvious. I think the Broncos are the best bet. Broncos, Ravens a pretty good week 1. I like the 49ers for a 2-week period, but they might be overdrafted. But we stream. I won't be picking one defense and starting them. I think the only exception ever made was the Patriots. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Where they were just going absolutely crazy the first few weeks.
Yep. But to your point, they were not drafted that way. They were drafted 8th, 9th, 10th. It's in some cases not even drafted.
Yeah.
And everybody was, I think it was the Jaguars that year, everybody was drafting and it didn't work out. It was terrible.
No, that was the year they were after the AFC Championship game. This is why you stream defenses. Your last 2 picks are the defense and the kick. The kicker should be your last pick no matter what. Defense, even in a salary cap, it's $1. Defense, kicker, $1. You're spending $2 combined for them.
Yeah, somebody's going to spend a 10th round on Tucker.
Someone's going to pay up for Tucker. Someone's going to pay up for Koo. Someone's going to pay up for Bucker. Let them do it. I'll take Tyler Bass. I'll take Matt Amendola, the Jets kicker. I'll take someone that's not going to score in the red zone. Take the Denver kicker.
Yeah, but a couple bucks for a young ho is the way to go.
He's actually not the young ho. He's a young way. So you want to go the young way. All right. That too. All right. That might go back to your rant as well, Andy. Just so you know.
Or the Jets defense against the Panthers, which
all right, shut up.
All right, we're done.
They got nobody. You're playing outside.
Yeah, I mean,
you're rushing the QB, Nick.
Listen, I'm all about the narrative. I love that, walking it back against the old quarterback and everything.
How is that not a primetime game?
Because it's the Jets and the Panthers.
Just crap bowl.
It's a good story. Well, that should have been a Thursday night
it's a good story for you.
That should have been a Thursday night game.
Nobody cares. yeah, exactly. Thursday in week 12. Right? All right, Andy, let's do it, man. I'm waiting for your throwback player of the week. I'm going to guess it this week. I know it.
All right, let's go. All right, I'll give you a couple hints. 1993.
Oh, it's already too late for me. I'm out.
Yeah, Nick wasn't born. Wide receiver. I know, I'm kidding. Wide receiver, 15 touchdowns. He had 160-plus targets. He only had 86 receptions, 1,200-plus yards.
That's terrible.
Okay, yeah, it was, probably the quarterback was pretty bad. And you guys, any hints yet or nothing? All right, I'll give you one more hint. His girlfriend burnt down his mansion. They talked about in a rap song.
Oh,
Jerry Rice?
Oh, yeah, Jerry Rice. Come on, man. Jeff, come on.
I'm drawing a blank. I can see his face. Oh,
I'm burning it down like Andre Rison's house.
Andre Rison, yeah. Bad Moon Rising, bro.
TLC, left eye, burnt down his mansion.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just guessing good receivers from that time frame. I have no idea.
Made rap songs.
Jerry Rice is like the top character individual in the history of football.
I'm just naming good receivers.
And you thought Left Eye burned his house down.
I'm just naming good receivers. I have no idea.
Nick, do you know who Left Eye is?
No clue.
Okay. TLC?
Nope.
No,
no clue. Over the head.
Watch The Other Guys. You'll appreciate that movie.
The movie? I love that. Yeah. The Other Guys?
They talk about TLC.
With Marky Mark?
Michael Keaton talks about the whole
movie. I love
movie.
that movie.
TLC brings up all their stuff. And like,
I love that movie.
You're not talking about TLC?
Marky Mark?
Yeah.
the hobos in the back of
I'm a peacock. I'm a peacock. Let me fly. That's all.
All right, guys. I think we need to put a cherry on the top of this Sunday. So you guys got anything else intelligent you want to say? Nick, what do you got going for me? You could tell us a little bit about what work you got going on, anything like that.
So we got the we got the tight end article coming out hopefully tomorrow. We have I'm going to be putting out a Roto article about our Roto Football League. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing some articles for FF Faceoff, so you'll be seeing some more content from us and maybe some future stuff going on. What is that?
Yeah, that's my wife. She knew about the house burning down. She just didn't know it was
There
Van
you go.
Horizon.
There you go.
So I couldn't remember his name,
Oh.
man. I couldn't remember his name. I'm so mad at myself.
Dude, just think about that. 86 receptions, like 165. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's called over-targeted.
Yeah.
Andy, anything else intelligent you want to say before we get out of here?
If you have a choice between yes and no, go with the lube. It works.
All right, Andy.
Go.
Andy, on the way out the door, man, just keep in touch with yourself, all right? All right, guys. I appreciate everybody out there for taking a listen, taking a watch. I know we're ugly, but we got a face for radio. It is what it is. This guy's at NMimi, Trader Andy over here at AMAC22NJ. I'm at JTrella20. This has been the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast. We love you guys. Trevor, thanks for all you do. Take us on out of here. Peace, guys. Peace.
Yep.
Later.